These sex orgies per se have no independent significance. However, you heard Linda's testimony today. She said that he was calling all the shots at that sex orgy. He was the one that was deciding when the orgy would commence, who would touch whom. There was no sexual activity until he gave that instruction. We are offering this as one further indication of Manson's power and control and dominion over that family. We don't intend to tell the jury that out of a clear blue sky, he ordered his co-defendants to commit these murders. And this was the first order he had ever given other members of the family. We are putting on previous contacts with the member of the family, his association with them, his relationship with them, as circumstantial evidence that on the 2 nights in question, it was he who ordered these 7 murders. The sexual conduct per se, as I've indicated, has no significance.
Shouldn't say that she attempted to smuggle a note. She handed a note to Charles Melton, who was with me, and he gave it to Linda. We've never kept anything from Linda that they've sent in. I'm tired of it. I think it's time they let her do as she pleases. They've attempted for months now, even going so far as to sit down in front of my law office to intimidate her and me. I got a phone call a couple of weeks ago from a guy about 8:30. He says, if Linda Kasabian takes the witness stand, neither of you will ever leave the courtroom. And I said, at nighttime, I said, look, do me a favor. If you're going to threaten me, do it during office hours. I'm tired of it at night. This is just another example of this kind of damn foolishness. There's nothing we can do about it. It was upsetting to Linda. It was right before she went on the stand. I was followed all the way upstairs to where she was, and she tried to force her way in and screamed out, in addition to that, something to Linda which was incoherent. And we're just bloody tired of it, period.
Well, is there anything that the district attorney's office or the court should do about this or can do about it?
That's up to the district attorney. It's been many years since I was in that position. All we want to do is have her finish testifying and leave town.
That I might point out that Sandra Good is a friend and acquaintance of Linda Kasabian. I don't see anything improper in attempting to speak with her. I mean, I don't know the circumstances and the rules and regulations regarding the passage of notes in the Hall of Justice, but you know, on the face of it, I don't see anything improper.
Certain weapons which were taken to the Tate mansion, she testified to certain killings and things she saw. Can you relay to us what she said on the stand?
Well, it's hard to summarize a full day's testimony, Dick.
Anything substantial she said this afternoon that you hadn't heard from her before?
No, the prosecution, in fact, any attorney worth his salt, does not call a stranger to the witness stand. I've talked to Linda for hours, and I'm not going to deny that. And I'm sure that the defense, when they call their witnesses to the stand, they've spoken to them. You don't call someone to the stand and say, where were you on a particular night, and have the person say, I don't know what you're talking about. On this particular night, I was in Beirut, Lebanon. I have no idea why you're calling me to the stand. You talk to them and find out what their testimony is going to be and determine that it's relevant. So her testimony did not surprise me. Night, she had no idea, according to her testimony, that murders were going to be committed.
Do you have some idea how she's going to bear up under cross-examination?
I think she's going to hold up very, very well, Dick. When a person tells the truth, as I believe she is, it's pretty hard to destroy that person's credibility.
Vince, how do you think the other defendants are taking this? Have you been looking at the other defendants? How do you think they're taking it?
I'm so caught up in the questions and answers of our star witness that I'm really not looking to my left.
Paul, I understand that you and perhaps some of the other defense attorneys are a little unhappy about certain Manson family members being excluded from the courtroom by method of subpoena.
That's correct. First, I don't believe there is such a thing as the Manson family, but a rather loose confederation of people who temporarily reside at what's known as the Spawn Ranch are the people I was referring to. And every time these people come to court as members of the public to witness the proceedings, the prosecution serves them with a subpoena and has them excluded from the courtroom. Now, if the prosecution legitimately intends to call these persons as witnesses, obviously we have no objection. But to say the least, these are hostile, reluctant witnesses for the prosecution. If anything, they could conceivably be defense witnesses, but certainly not prosecution witnesses. And it's our position that they deliberately subpoena these persons and exclude them from the courtroom so that they're not there while certain of their witnesses testify, namely Linda Kasabian.
You don't think they would try to influence her by looks, by signals, by standing in the courtroom and saying anything?
Well, I think the prosecution feels that the mere presence of some of Linda Kasabian's contemporaries and contemporaries of Manson and Van Houten and Krenwinkel would intimidate her. I suggest that if she's telling the truth, they don't have any problems.
Yesterday, you know, one of the family members, or one of the Confederate members, as you put it, did attempt to smuggle a note to Linda. And it seems to me that is a form of intimidation.
I'm not aware of that.
Yes, Sandra Good attempted to deliver a note to Linda on the 9th floor yesterday afternoon.
Well, I'm not.
Gary, yesterday one of the family members, Sandra Good, attempted to smuggle a note to your client, Linda Kasabian, which in my mind is a form of intimidation. Do you have anything to say?
Trial, Mr. Knarrick's had quite a reputation for being an obstructionist. Do you think that's a pretty good description of the man's tactics in the courtroom?
I better not say anything directly on that, John. All I can say is this. You've observed him for 5 weeks. You saw his demeanor. And now the trial has really got underway, and I think you will agree with me that there's been a dramatic change between the Knarrick you saw for 5 weeks and the Knarrick you're seeing now. I think you all agree with me on that.
Can you speculate on his motives?
To speculate on the motives behind Mr. Knarrick's doing anything would be a rather unprofitable undertaking.
Is he laying groundwork for the appeal of this case?
Again, I don't know that. This might be his motive, but I think you'd have to ask him directly on that.
How much longer do you think Linda will actually be on the stand?
I expect that Linda will be under direct examination for at least 1 more day, perhaps 1.5 more days. Now, after direct examination, of course, there's cross-examination. Cross-examination might last a day or 2. After cross-examination, I anticipate that we'll have Linda on redirect for another morning or afternoon session. So Linda's going to be on that stand for a total of about a week. Let's face it, she is the proverbial star witness for the prosecution.
Vince, are you as far along as...
Vin, what is the particular purpose bringing out about the sex orgies at this?
As far as he was the one who was directing the entire affair.
Thank you, Vince.
Yeah.